trees that don't have any leaves left on them, and a lot of debris around. But mostly it's flooding. The South Tampa, Port Tampa area, there is some extensive flooding in streets down through that area. North Del Mabry by the Raymond James Stadium and going westward has some extensive flooding there as well. There are some areas in neighborhoods in North Tampa, and then Fowler, as we have come to know the particular section of Fowler known as Lake Fowler. It is underwater, and there looks like there's a number of homes and some apartments and businesses along Fowler that are flooded as well. Didn't observe any cranes down. All of the structures at Busch Gardens look fine, and the same thing with Lowry Park. Everything looks fine from up there as well. Overall, we don't have extensive damage in our community. Even the debris that we weren't able to pick up, you can tell that that's been moved around in a few yards, but for the most part, that has stayed in place as well. So I saw one boat that was sunk, a few boats pushed here and there, but not the coastal damage that we saw from Helene. So overall, pretty good shape. It's going to be a lot of, there's some road clearing and some other things, but not the extensive damage. And as far as I know we have our first responder professionals here. As far as I know, we haven't had any loss of life. We've had some injuries. So we need to keep that going with our community. We are working, flew over the port. Port looks good, so we should be able to get fuel in and out of there. The roadways, the bridges look good also, but those have to be inspected before people will be allowed on those. And same thing with our communities. Our first responders have to get in there and make sure it's safe for everybody to come back in. But from the air, I wouldn't say that's going to take a long time. So hopefully we'll be able to get everybody re-entered and back in their homes as quickly as possible. Can't tell in the daylight what the electric system looks like, but again, been in touch with Archie Collins, and he and his teams are out there, and there's, last I heard, about 500,000 homes out of power, but I think they'll get those back up. We did see some telephone poles down in the streets with trees and so forth, but again, not the extensive damage that I expected. So that's good news for Tampa once again. All right, we got our first emergency responder, Chief Barbara Tripp.
As the mayor said, there's still some recovery that we have to do. We just ask everyone to continue to be safe. For all of the calls that were called in and placed on hold, just to let you know, the first responders have responded to all of the calls and going to continue to respond to the calls. We had 3 fires overnight, and of course, no additional fires have been called in. And as far as all the medical calls, and just to let you all know, with the cleanup that we have received multiple resources throughout the state to sit here and to assist Tampa. So once again, if you can please do not go out on the streets, do not get involved into the flood areas to cause us to have to come out. Let's deal with a little more priority of what needs to be done. Let us give you a quick assessment of the city of Tampa, as the mayor has stated, so we can make sure you get to your property and be able to review it once it's cleared. But once again, if you are without power, we know power is going to take a while to get back on. Just know TECO is working very hard to restore the power. If you are operating a generator, make sure the generator is in a well-ventilated area outside, not inside your garage or in your home, and only plug in the appropriate appliances that need to be plugged in. We want everyone to continue to be safe and continue to support one another. Check on your loved ones. And if you need additional assistance, we still have the shelters. Of course, the shelters will be closing once we get everyone safe to get back to their place of their home. please stay safe out there. And once again, let us come out and do the assessment before you try to enter. And now we're Chief Burkall.
Everyone's safety is our top priority, and that's why you'll see road closures out there. We have our police officers out closing down certain hot spots where we see amount of power lines and trees down and flooding. So we will, at the end of this, provide you a link to a map that'll show you that our road closures are there. Please do not drive on the roads now, regardless of where you're going. It is not safe until we can clear all the roads. Go to our website, tampa.gov. You can also, if you're interested in volunteering to assist us, there's a place where you can register that. It's tampa.gov/help Tampa. So anybody that wants to volunteer to assist us in cleaning the roads, please use that resource. As I said, safety is important. Our first responders are out there. They're saving lives. They're making a difference. Last night, when the storm was picking up, we had an opportunity to go out and save a family of 15. They were in their house when a tree fell on the roof and water was coming in. They called 911. Fortunately, at that time, we were able to get there and safely evacuate all 15, including the children. In addition to that, our officers are out there now. We're actually cutting down trees, working with the city, making everything as safe as possible. So please stay off the roads until we can make sure everything's safe. And Maribel?
Buenos días, residentes de Tampa. La alcaldesa acaba de regresar de volar el área de Tampa para evaluar la situación. La situación ha sido un poco mejor de lo que se esperaba, pero todavía en las carreteras hay muchas inundaciones, así que le pedimos a los residentes que se queden en sus casas, que no salgan, que se mantengan alejados de todas esas áreas que pueden tener acumulación. El Departamento de Bomberos y el Departamento de la Policía están haciendo todo lo posible para asegurarse de que se encarguen de todas estas situaciones lo más pronto posible, así que por favor manténganse en sus casas. Para todos aquellos que quieran o estén interesados en ayudar en los esfuerzos de recuperación, pueden ir a la página de internet tampa.gov/help Tampa. tampa.gov/help Tampa. Pueden registrarse ahí para ayudar a nuestros primeros rescatistas en las labores de recuperación y limpieza de escombros.
All right. Any questions?
Mayor, could you open the chopper? Can you tell us what you saw when you were flying around?
Yeah, it actually looked much better than I thought it was going to look up there. We do have trees down. As I said, a lot of trees with no leaves whatsoever, but there is extensive flooding in different areas from the rain. You can expect flooding in the South Tampa area, Port Tampa area, but also along Del Mabry, by the stadium, a lot of the car lots and neighborhoods there. Al Lopez Park looks like a lake. I mean, the entire thing is underwater. Also, along Fowler Avenue, there is extensive flooding both north and south of Fowler, over into the mall, what used to be the mall there, and then the residential area on the south side. USF looks good. There's a section in the middle. I texted President Law. There's a section in the middle with some minor flooding at USF, but overall that looks good. I texted Paul Anderson with the port. The port looks good as well. I'm sure that they're gonna have trucks out and moving, taking fuel out to the 17 counties that our port supplies. Tampa International looks good too. The runways, they're going to have to inspect all of those. Bridges look good, but again, those will have to be inspected by FDOT before they are opened up, but hopefully that will be rather quick. The Selman Expressway looks clear as well. So everything looks pretty good. There's an owner of a couple owners of planes at Davis Islands Airport. Their hangar doors are pushed in there, and there's a couple planes upside down. Boats don't look as bad as they did during Helene. Of course, if it's your boat, it's bad, but overall looks pretty good. So far, we don't have extensive injuries or any deaths, and we want to keep it that way. So if you're going out there to clean the trees with chainsaws and so forth, pay attention and be safe, please. And volunteer to help your neighbors. Volunteer with the city. We can find plenty for you to do, again, to help our community. So thank you all, and please stay safe. The volunteer sign up, again, is tampa.gov/help Tampa. All right? There are some roofs that didn't really see any roofs that were missing. Not to say that, I can't see everything from up there. There were trailers that had their roofs peeled back. There was one of the fuel containers at the port that had a roof peeled back. The Sheridan Grand's got some roof damage there, and some trailer parks, and that was a majority of it. And trees, electric poles, everything that you would expect to see from the air is down. But our winds didn't get as high here in Tampa as they did in St. Pete. And St. Pete, from my understanding, has more extensive damage than we had here in the city of Tampa. Last I heard, there were over 500,000 in the Tico area. When I talked to Archie Collins, it was probably like 5:30 this morning was probably the last time I talked to him, 5:36 a.m. And they had right over 500,000 out. But I would suspect that they'll get those back up pretty quickly, because I just didn't see, right, John, up there, just didn't see, all the power poles down and trees in the streets that you would have expected. And so hopefully, of course, with all my experience in the electric service, which is zero, but just from up above, there isn't that extensive damage that it would take days for them to get things back up and running.
Mayor, I don't know if this is a question for you or for law. Over the last 12 hours, based on the amount of calls you might have received, do you think most of the people heeded the warnings in the evacuation zone?
Without a doubt. I think we can all agree with that. All of us combined have several hundred years of law enforcement or first responder experience, and we would like to think that everyone heeded the officials' warning, but I really think it's due to Hurricane Helene, what that did. And that's the first for all of us who grew up here in the city. That's the worst that I've seen. And when people get to see firsthand the power of Mother Nature, it's very impactful, literally and figuratively. And so I think that people heeded that warning and got out, and were able to stay safe. So very thankful to our community.
Mayor, I think a lot of people are wondering when Tampa will be Tampa again. How long does something like this take to clean up? What does that process
Well, I can't put a timeline on it, but I'll tell you that it's going to be a lot quicker than the worst case scenario. If Milton had hit on the north side, we would have been in dire circumstances. Right now, I think that plus it's Tampa, right? We're going to bounce right back. So we have all hands on deck. Our people are already out working, getting the debris up. So we'll be back up and running before you know it.
Can I ask Chief McCall one thing real quick?
Sure.
What advice do you give to homeowners as far as no electricity and protecting themselves, watching out for movement? Is that something maybe is a concern?
Well, my first advice would be a thank you for the cooperation that we've received. I mean, we've worked together to save lives, and just to continue that diligence. If you're home, stay in home until we can clear the streets and make them safe. You may look out and see they're safe, but there could be a down power line around the corner, or a tree limb down the corner, or even a full-size tree. So if you see it, stay in your home and report it so we can get it on our list and get it taken care of immediately.
Would you say this is the best case scenario for Tampa, given that it was Category 3, came in lower, and there's not a lot of I was more concerned about my house, like the roof just blowing off, and that seemed like that didn't happen.
Well, best case scenario is we didn't have a hurricane at all for me. But yeah, definitely much better than what we were expecting. We're planning for the worst and hoping for the best. And in this case, maybe not the best, but not the worst.
And reassure them about the safety of the community and no looting.
Yes, in addition to that, obviously, in those areas that were evacuated, if you're there, don't go there. I have all 1,000 of my officers on duty, and we will enforce any laws out there. And of course, during a hurricane and during a state of emergency, we have enhanced penalties.